Hello, everyone. Welcome to our course, Computer-Mediated Communication. I'm Dr. Alex, your course facilitator. Today, we are going to explore the functional study of computer-mediated communication, or CMC. This topic comes from Module 1 from the textbook I have written for this course, Computer-Mediated Communication, Theories and Practices for English Language Students. Many of us think we already understand digital communication. After all, we use social media, messaging apps, and email every single day. But this presentation asks a bigger question. What actually happens deep down when humans communicate through a screen? Instead of focusing on specific platforms, because platforms come and go, we will study the stable, enduring patterns behind how people connect online. This matters for all of you, whether your path is English language teaching, corporate communications, research and academic publishing, or creative writing. Understanding these systems will help you in any digital communication context you enter. Okay, let's begin. Let's start with a clear definition. Look at this diagram. A human sender, a digital intermediary, that's the technology in the middle, and a human receiver. CAR, in 2021, defines computer-mediated communication as the process of exchanging meaning among humans through digital channels. Notice something important here. The computer itself is not the communicator. It is only the middle step. The real communication still happens between people. For something to count as true CMC, two requirements must be present. First, interactivity. The channel must give us the capacity to respond. A billboard cannot respond to you, but a chat application can. Second, identifiability. We must be able to identify who we are communicating with, even if that identity is only a username or an avatar. Now look at the bottom of this slide. On the left, obsolete technology, old computers, old pagers. Platforms like MySpace and Friendster used to be huge, and now they are gone. But on the right, look at the enduring processes, a handshake, a voice speaking. Our human communicative drives, our need to connect, to be understood, to belong, these do not disappear. This is the heart of our functional approach. We study stable theoretical processes, not surface-level platform features. 5 years from now, today's popular apps may also be gone, but this framework will still apply. Digital technology does two things at the same time, and this can feel confusing at first. On one side, we have convergence. CMC acts like a bridge. Interpersonal relationships and even organizational hierarchies now operate through digital intermediaries. Old and new communication blend together. On the other side, we have divergence. CMC also creates completely new phenomena, situations that never existed before computers, with no offline equivalent at all. Now look at this diagram. On the left circle, interpersonal communication, one-to-one, specific, and intimate, like a private conversation. On the right circle, mass media, one-to-many, broad and anonymous, like a television broadcast. But look at the middle, where the two circles overlap. This is mass personal communication, a concept from O'Sullivan and Carr 2018. Here's a simple example. Think about a Facebook birthday post. You write it for one specific person, that feels interpersonal. But that same post is broadcast to your entire, undifferentiated network of friends. That feels like mass media. One message, two functions, happening at the same time. That is mass personal communication, and it is one of the clearest signs that our old categories of interpersonal versus mass communication no longer fully apply online. Here's a question worth thinking about. Who is really in control? The technology or the people who use it? Scholars place the answer on a spectrum. On one end, techno-determinism. This view says the machine comes first. The tool's mere presence inevitably reshapes human behavior. A good example is infinite scroll, interfaces engineered on purpose to eliminate friction and to induce compulsive checking. In this view, the design controls us, whether we realize it or not. On the other end, social determinism. This view says the human comes first. Users collectively construct the technology's meaning and purpose. Think about Twitter. It was originally designed just for short status updates among friends. But users repurposed it for breaking news and public discourse. The people, not the designers, decided what the tool would become. In the middle, we find mutual shaping, and this is the sophisticated practitioner's stance. Technology and human agency shape each other in complex, ongoing feedback loops. As professionals, this is usually the most accurate and the most useful way to think about technology, not machine versus human, but machine and human, shaping each other together again and again. Many people use the words Internet and World Wide Web as if they mean the same thing. They do not, and this is an important distinction to get right. Think of it this way. At the bottom, we have the Internet, the highway. It is the global physical network of networked computers. It was born from Cold War military needs for a decentralized, indestructible communication grid using a technical standard called TCP/IP. Above that highway, we have the World Wide Web, the traffic that travels on it. The web is just one application that runs on top of the physical internet infrastructure. It uses HTTP to link hypertext documents together in a navigable information space. Think of all the pages and links you click through every day. So remember, the internet is the road. The World Wide Web is only one kind of vehicle driving on that road. Email is a different vehicle and online gaming is another, and all of them travel on that very same infrastructure underneath. The web itself has evolved through three major stages, and understanding this evolution helps us understand our own role as users today. Web 1.0 was the static web. The logic was one-to-many broadcasting. Users were passive readers, just reading, not interacting. The format was read-only, single-authored HTML pages, almost like an online brochure. Then came Web 2.0, the social web, the internet most of us grew up with. The logic shifted to collaborative participation. Users became prosumers, both producers and consumers of content at the same time. This era is characterized by the September 1st 90 rule. 90% of users just consume content. 9% occasionally interact by liking or commenting, and only 1% actually create original content. Now we are moving into Web 3.0, the semantic web. Here, the logic is machine learning and AI connections. Our role changes again. We become a data node, or what scholars call an algorithmic subject. The format is invisible data handshakes happening behind the scenes. Think about Netflix recommendations, targeted advertisements, and filter bubbles. You don't see these processes directly, but they are shaping what you see online every single day, often without your awareness. Not everyone experiences digital communication equally. This funnel shows us the digital divide, and it has three levels, each one narrower than the last. Level 1 is the access divide. Do people have physical devices and reliable internet infrastructure? As of 2019, 49% of the global population still lacked meaningful access, almost half the world. But having access is not enough. Level 2 is the skills divide, digital literacy, English language proficiency, and technical competence. Having a device does not equal the ability to evaluate online information. You can own a smartphone and still struggle to judge whether a news article is trustworthy or false. Level 3 is the outcomes divide, the capacity to translate digital use into tangible social, academic, or economic benefits. Can this access actually improve someone's life, their grades, their income, their opportunities? The key insight from Van Deursen and Helsper 2015 is this: digital access without structural support amplifies existing social inequalities. Simply giving someone a device does not close the gap. It can even make existing inequality worse if we don't also address skills and outcomes together. Why do you talk to your best friend on 5 different apps, but only email your acquaintance once a year? Media multiplexity theory answers this question. The core principle from Haythornthwaite 2005 is this: your relationship predicts your channel use. Strong ties use many overlapping channels. Weak ties use only a few. Look at the diagram. On the left, a strong tie, a close friend. You reach them through WhatsApp, Instagram DM, SMS, voice calls, Discord, many channels at once, all tangled together. On the right, a weak tie, an acquaintance. You reach them through just one thin channel, maybe email. Here's something even more useful: the bidirectional effect. This dynamic works in both directions. Adding channels actively increases relational closeness. The more ways you connect, the closer you become. And dropping channels is often the first observable symptom of relational distance. If a friend suddenly stops replying on multiple platforms and only uses one, that change itself is a signal, often, before anyone says a word about it out loud. Now let's shift from personal relationships to organizations. Why do some companies successfully adopt a new communication app while others fail, even when the technology itself is excellent? The Social Information Processing Model from Folk and colleagues, 1990, gives us the answer. In organizations, media choice is not a purely rational calculation of a tool's features. Look at this simple equation on the slide. Objective traits of the app, the actual features and functions, plus subjective peer perceptions, what your coworkers believe and say about it, equals organizational media selection. Both parts matter, not just the technology itself. Here is a diagnostic example. If valued peers believe that a perfectly functional system is actually a tool for surveillance, for watching and monitoring employees, adoption will fail. It doesn't matter how good the technology is. The technical rollout is irrelevant if the peer narrative is toxic. This means interventions must be social, not just technical. If you want people to genuinely use a new tool, you must also manage what people are saying about it to each other. This next point is important because these two theories have very similar names, and students often confuse them. Let's make the distinction clear, once and for all. SIPM, the Social Information Processing Model, comes from Folk and colleagues, 1990. Its domain is organizational and professional. Its core question is, how do groups choose which media to use based on peer influence? We just discussed this one in the previous slide. SIPT, Social Information Processing Theory, comes from Walter, 1992. Its domain is interpersonal relationships. Its core question is, how do individuals form deep connections in text-based environments when nonverbal cues like tone of voice and facial expression are missing? We will explore this theory fully in our next module. Remember this simple rule, and maybe even write it down. Do not confuse the model, which explains organizational channel choice, with the theory, which explains interpersonal relationship formation. Same initials, very different focus. So, why does all of this theory matter for you, specifically, as English language studies students? Let's connect each concept to your 4 career tracks. For corporate communications, applying SIPM and determinism means diagnosing failed software rollouts by auditing peer narratives. That's social determinism in action, rather than immediately assuming the problem is purely technical. For English language teaching and education, applying the digital divide means designing curricula that account for all 3 levels of the divide, ensuring equity in access, skills, and outcomes, before mandating digital participation from your future students. For research and analytics, applying Web 3.0 logic means correcting for algorithmic bias and the September 1st 90 rule in your data sampling. Remember, social media data represents the loudest 1% of users, not the general population. Be careful before you generalize from what you see online. And for creative writing, applying masspersonal theory means leveraging Web 2.0 participatory structures, where audience response actively shapes narrative development. Think about how fan reactions can shape a serialized online story in real time. Whichever path you choose after graduation, this theory becomes a practical, usable tool in your hands, not just an exam requirement. Let's bring everything together now, with 3 final takeaways. First, theory outlives the interface. Platforms are temporary. Human communicative drives endure. Rely on the functional approach, and your knowledge will stay relevant even after today's popular apps disappear and are replaced by something new. Second, context determines adoption. Whether you are navigating the digital divide or leveraging the social information processing model, technology cannot be separated from the social realities of its users. You cannot fully understand the tool without also understanding the people who use it. Third, the network is mutual. Neither the machine nor the human is in total control. The most effective professionals design for mutual shaping, working with both the technology and the people at once. This is the foundation. Apply the lens. As you move forward in this course and in your future careers, do not just ask, what platform should I use? Ask instead, what human need is this platform actually serving? That is the functional approach in action. Thank you very much for listening.